And somehow we're probably live. Woohoo! Welcome along to the live stream from outside in my garden. We had a few technical gremlins. I think we may continue to have a few audio gremlins, but hopefully everything else is resolved. If we have audio gremlins, we'll let the pictures speak for themselves because yeah, we've done everything we can at this end. Hope you're doing all right. Hope you're enjoying the lovely weather. Welcome to my outside studio. Oh, I should introduce myself. Hello, for those that don't know me, I'm Gavin Hoey. I'm one of the presenters right here on Adorama TV. We're going to be doing some location photography using ambient light, speed lights and strobes. But I'm not here by myself. I do have, you can see them and you can probably hear them. It's Freya on the Super Switcher, Sam on the comments.
Hey everyone! Slightly different venue today. Thank you for your patience. Yeah, as Gav said, we had a few technical gremlins. We're not really sure if they're still with us. We're trying to get rid of them. But yeah, we've got lots of people here and they've been very patient waiting. Some of them going to get iced coffee, or they wish they'd got iced coffee. I wish I'd got an iced coffee, or maybe something a little stronger. Sounds a bit crackly. Yeah, sorry Joe. We're doing our best. We've tried all the things we have at hand. So bear with us. Would you like to know where everyone is?
I'd love to know where everybody is. Yes, please.
Okay, so we've got Denmark. Oh, that's my sister-in-law. Hi, Kaz. We've got Germany. We've got California. We've got Portugal. Lots of Canada. Gloucester. I hope you're enjoying some nice weather in Gloucester, Gary, because it's absolutely scorching here. As you can see, we're actually in summer clothes.
We are melting, quite literally. Okay, right, should we crack on because we're running a bit behind? So what are we going to do today? So I'm going to be doing some location portraits using continuous light, or the sunlight as it's rapidly disappearing. It's, for those that want to know the time, we're in the UK, it's 7:10, so it's sort of the early evening for us, so we should have some nice low evening light. We wanted to go with a sort of a festival type vibe. That's kind of the idea. So to help us out with that, we got the awesome Chloe. Give it up for Chloe. Woo! Chloe is fully festivaled up. Festival of photography. That sounds exciting. Yeah, so I've come as a festival. This is me at a festival, having run around like a crazy person for the last 20 minutes. So yeah, we got a nice background. We've got our sort of natural background here as well. And we're going to do continuous light, daylight, speed lights and studio strobes, big ones. So the one I'm going to start with first is going to be just the natural daylight. And there are two reasons for that. The first one is, well, it's available, but why would I want to do natural light first? If you're in the comments, let me know. What is the advantage of doing natural light first on this session? Whilst you're typing that in, I'm going to set my camera up. Hang on 1 second. And we'll get a picture coming in. I haven't actually set this up because we were busy doing other things. So bear with me. Here we go. And hopefully that should work. Okay. Yes. Whew. At least we have a picture, even if we don't have great sound. So let's take a picture because the pictures will tell a lot more about what we're doing and where we're at. Okay, Chloe, I'm going to do a little test photo. I'm going to be in aperture priority mode. I'm just going to dial in, wide open. Here we go, little test photo, just to see what we get. Okay, we are up and running. We have a photo. Marvellous. Oh, at least that works. That's good. Go for it.
So Sid Talk said, if you haven't figured it out already, my audiophile husband says your sound thing is a buffering issue.
Oh.
Thank you.
That's weird. Okay, that's a first. Thank you. We'll look into that afterwards. So super useful. Okay, so why am I going to do ambient light first? The simple reason, I don't know, did anyone put any reasons in? Then I will answer. Simple reason being that it's going to get darker as we go on.
Sorry, they did, yeah.
Okay. That stopped working as well.
There's just me that stopped working. No sun, no picture.
Exactly.
Nothing to set up because the light might be good.
Yeah. Exactly. The light is really good at the moment. It's only going to get darker. So use the ambient light Now that makes sense in my head anyway. Ambient light is great. It is fast working. It is completely free, and it's kind of the freedom as well. I can take a whole bunch of pictures here doing nothing more than pressing the shutter. So let's do that. I'll stop talking, start taking pictures. All I've got to do is get the camera to focus. Chloe is doing her thing. Here we go. There we go. Helps to have the camera in autofocus mode. So these are okay. They're not bad, but I'm looking at Chloe's face and I'm trying to get the exposure on Chloe's face, or at least the focus on it, but you can see she's a bit dark. That's because I'm shooting directly into the sun. So I need to think about that. If I'm using the ambient light, I don't have any control over it, but I do have control over the exposure. So my exposure is, well, what it says on the camera. So I'm going to use the exposure compensation. We'll give it an extra stop and a bit and say to the camera, yeah, whatever exposure you think, give it a bit more. Can you see how that's going to lift Chloe's face just to make her a little bit lighter? Let me jump back one photo. Nope, because it decided not to bring that one in. Hang on, quick little test. Yep, now it is. Okay, here we go. So now, these exposures on Chloe's face are right, but everything else is way off. And because I'm in aperture priority mode, it's going to vary wildly as I fill the frame or as I get more of the sun in my picture. The camera's exposure is going to shift around. So it gives me freedom. It gives me the speed to work in aperture priority mode using the continuous light, but it doesn't give me the actual, I mean, as if it hasn't been bad enough. There we go. It doesn't give me consistency. So if that's something that you need in your photography, then one of our other options might be for you. But we can get a little bit better than this because there's a lot of light in this scene. It's just behind Chloe, not in front of Chloe. So you're going to hate this, Chloe. I'm going to get a reflector.
I'm just going to read this comment out because it's made me laugh. Rebecca said, I like the gremlins hypothesis. It makes me happy to think Gavin has them living in that shed in the background. Yeah, we don't go in there, Rebecca. It's scary.
Okay, reflector. So if I can, whoa, can we go with a close-up camera? Let's see if that side camera, if I zoom in a little bit, there we go, that'll work. It's a little bit flary because we've got sun in our face, but can you see the difference? Yep. So it's not particularly fun for Chloe. Is that fun?
Great.
It's great. Such a trooper. Yeah. So this is a standard reflector, a silver side, because we want to punch in quite a bit of light. A white side would be softer, but outside it doesn't really do a massive amount. So a silver reflector, and notice the height. It's above Chloe. So you'll often see people with reflectors and they hold them down below. That's a terrible place to put a reflector. If your subject is in the sun, yes, put a reflector low to fill in the shadows. But if your subject is in the shade, get your reflector high to bounce light. Sorry, Chloe, you're not. To bounce light back down. Just realised I might have left you in the sun. Okay, so I'm going to bring this round. You might want to close your eyes until we're ready to go. And then I'll get my camera.
I've got a question.
Yeah, far away.
So Robert said, why are you using a low 80 ISO?
Because, Robert, I didn't change it. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate that. Glad everyone's watching. That might come in useful later. Spoiler alert. Okay, so this
And I'm just going to say thank you to Photog Fits Photo for the suggestion of turning the mic amp down. Thank you.
It's, yeah, I don't think it's clipping, but okay, you can turn it down a bit. Take it down. Phrase on it. Okay, so this is with a reflector, and you can see that this works really well until the sun goes in, or I put it away. Okay, let's have a look at the difference. Okay, without the reflector, with, can I go back on this? Will it let me go back? Yes, it will. Okay, that's without, that is with, without, with. It's not exactly nice light, but at least it's bright light. You can see the background doesn't really change. We're just pushing light into Chloe's face, but it is, let's face it, it's not great. We're going to do better than this. And because we lost a bit of time at the beginning, I think we should crack on and do better now, because that's, ooh, not good. Okay, so ambient light is okay. It works. But it's not going to be my first choice of light. I'm going to put my own control in if I possibly can. So we could do this with a big studio strobe, or we could do this with a small speedlight. I prefer the speedlights because they're small and portable, but I prefer the results of the big flashes. You'll see as we go along. Let's get a small one.
So I've got a question from Joe. What is your white balance set at?
It's at 5,200, which is sort of standard daylight. It may not be right, but at least it's sort of a standard. It's not going to change as we go through. Now all I need is a speed light. Oh, here we are. Okay, right, speed lights. Eventually. There, marvellous. So they come in different shapes and sizes. We've covered speedlights many times here on Adorama TV. If you want to see more about speedlights, we've got a load of videos with much better audio that cover this subject in detail. Okay, so I'm going to use the little, there it is, if we get it in focus. It should be the R2 Zoom lithium ion. You'll find gear links in the video description down below. Okay, so I'm going to go with the rectangular one. There are round ones available, each to their own. They both do a job. And I'm going to put it on a light stand. That's basically it. Okay, let's bring this in here. So Chloe, do you want to just take a little step forward for me? Marvellous. So my next job is to get this light at the right height. So I could do on-camera flash. You know, that's one of the advantages of speedlights, is you could just put it on the camera and go. But off-camera flash is definitely more controllable, more desirable, more aesthetically pleasing most of the time. If you're running and gunning, if you're doing a wedding or an event, then, you know, absolutely fine, do on-camera flash. But for this sort of work, get it elevated, get it off-camera. So I could just put my camera into TTL mode, flash into TTL mode, my camera into auto mode, and just let the camera and the flash talk to each other. Let's just see what happens. Okay, you never know, this could be amazing. All right, well, it's not really any different to where we were before. So to get this to work, we need to take a bit of control, and we need a bit of planning and thought. So the first thing I'm going to do, turn the flash off. The next thing I'm going to do is work out the exposure I want to see, and then add my flash to fill in any shadows. So it might mean slightly underexposing the image. Now to do that, I'm not going to be in aperture priority mode. Just bring my cable over here. I'm going to be in manual mode. Okay, so I'm in manual mode, M for manual. So I'm in control of the ISO, the aperture, and the shutter speed. All of them are at my control. So let's dial in some standard settings. Flash sync for me is 250th of a second. Your mileage may vary. ISO, my standard ISO is 200. That might change, but we'll start there. And aperture, I'm going to go wide open. This is f2.8. Let's do that. Let's see what we get. Okay, Chloe.
I've had a comment from Tosh saying, use something that will reflect, your legs might do it. Lol, sorry.
Whoa, Tosh. I mean, come on. It's the exposure, Tosh. I've got the, it's, yeah, he's got a point though, isn't he, really? I mean, we're in the UK. This is the 1 week of the year where I can get my legs out.
Chuck also asked, what are the stands you're using for the backdrops and the horizontal bar holding them up?
Okay, so good question. Chuck, I would not use these. So these are heaviest duty stands I own, and they're okay, but they're kind of bowing a little bit. And then the crossbars are the top of C-stands, the grip arms from C-stands. So there's a whole bunch of sandbags and gravel and basically anything else I could find to hold them down, because earlier there was a bit of a breeze blowing. Now it's gone quite calm. That's the way it goes, isn't it? So yeah, there is a little bit of lens distortion, but that's also actually quite accurate to how they look. Yeah, they're a little bowy. Okay, so where were we? We're going to take a picture without any flash firing. Let's see what we get. Okay, so, oh, I need to turn on my hang on a second, Chloe, don't look at that one. Nothing to see here. Right, I need to turn on my camera settings so I can actually see my exposure. There we go. Right, I've wound up at f8. By chance, f8, middle of the road, because I'm trying to get darkness so I can add some light in. That's where you can add light into the shadows. I was hoping f2.8, but with the lighting we've got in here, that's where I'm going to be. So now all I need to do is add some light onto Chloe's face. So remember my settings. I'm at 250th of a second. So I'm going to dial those into my flash meter. Here we go. 250th of a second. That's a long way down. Where are we? 250th. At ISO 200. And I want my flash to read f8. Chloe, I'm going to pop this near your chin. Here we go. f3.2. Well, I think we need quite a bit more power than that. f3.2. Well, that's definitely not the correct exposure. Let's try again. f22. There we go. It catches up with me eventually. f14. f7. Oh, close. f8. Hey. Okay, I got there. There we are. Lovely. Okay, so my flash, the amount of light that's reaching Chloe, matches my camera settings. Marvellous.
You've got a question?
Far away. I'll take a photo. You ask the question.
Yeah, so Dippin asked, why don't you lower the ISO 50 or 80 instead of closing down the aperture?
Yeah, could do that. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we'll do that. Let's do that. Yeah, I can't think of a good reason why not. Just for you, I can do that. ISO 80. Okay, here we go. Chloe, I'm going to pop this near your chin. Okay. F. Okay. Come on, camera. Oh, there is a reason. I've discovered why. Okay, so to get there, I had to be at 1/4 power. So I've had to really punch up my power a little bit of the flash, and that makes sense, doesn't it? I've reduced the camera's sensitivity to all light, including the speedlight. So I'm now pushing the edge of my speedlight quite heavily, but I could have done that. Okay, so you know, we're kind of there. Whoop, oh, we're kind of not there. Let's go there. That's better. And we're also pushing the power. The poor flash in this heat is kind of saying, I'm going to slow down. There we go. So it's misfiring. And that's because we're in really, really hot conditions out here. That's been out in the sun for a lot of the day. And I'm also working the flash quite hard. So it can't quite keep up with my flow, which is one of the downsides of speedlights. So my gut feeling of 200 ISO was about right. I'm going to stick with where I thought I should be. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, so there is a bit of a problem here though. Despite all of that, I really don't like any of these photos. Sorry, Chloe, it's not you, it's me. And it's not even me, it's the light. These are not great, are they? These are not good images. The light is harsh. It's not flattering. The shadows are really not good. Look at the shadow under the... It's not good. Don't do this. Do this instead. The softbox. Just because we're outside doesn't mean to say that we can't make use of softer light.
That's perfect timing, because Brinton Photography said, why not add a soft modifier to the speedlight? It seems hard.
It's very hard, Brinton. It's horribly hard. But, you know, that's... people do. This is not unusual. This is a single skin softbox. There we go. You can kind of see right the way through it. Can you see my hand through that? Probably not. No. But it's a... oh, that's kind of like that. That's really arty. Oh. It was good whilst it lasted. Single skin softbox. When I'm on location, if I have a double skin softbox, I will always take out the inner diffuser. technically it makes it a little less even on the surface. In the real world, it means you get another stop of light, which when you're using a speed light can be absolutely essential. So let's do that. Let's add this in. Whoop, there we go. So I'm going to get this a little closer to Chloe, like that. I'm going to get my flash meter, pop it back to ISO 200, see what we get. Chloe, I'm going to pop this near your chin. F8, blimey. Okay, first go. Just in case anyone doesn't believe me. It's not often I get it right first time.
So Micah asked, are we flipping down the spreader on the speedlight before attaching this? Also, what's the speedlight zoom set to?
No, and 12 millimeters, which is 24 millimeters, because I'm using micro 4/3. So no, it's not. It doesn't have the diffuser on, and it's on its widest setting. Good questions. Okay. Okay, so this softer light. Shadows underneath Chloe's chin, much more blended, much more even. Nice. If we can just get the breeze back, that would be nice.
I can feel a little breeze actually. It is. It's not. It's a little
It's
breeze.
okay. Yeah.
So Joe asked, how can you keep strobes cool in the summer heat?
Very difficult. Don't run them at high powers. Keep them out of the direct sunlight. That's kind of it, really. Don't put freshly charged batteries in. Let the batteries cool down. Those kind of basic tips. Yeah, how do you keep yourself cool? You don't do too much exercise and you don't stand in direct sunlight. Same with your electronics. All right, okay, so these are okay, but they're not really what I'm after. They're perfectly fine images. But what I'd really like is a shallow depth of field. We're at f8. Look, the trees are pretty much in focus. That was the hard light. That's not great. These are the soft light. The chin shadow, much better. But everything is in focus. It's kind of, yeah. So we're going to try and make this a little bit better. I'm going to switch lenses. Just need to find my camera bag. Here we go. Nope, not that one.
So would you remove the inner diffuser on a larger modifier?
Yes.
Sid Talk asked.
Good question, and absolutely yes. We have a larger one coming up, and I've removed the inner diffuser already. Okay. Right. So this is a 45mm lens. Again, links in the video description. 45mm f1.2, and it's that end of the lens I'm interested in, that wide open aperture. Depth of field is where we're at. So I want to get a nice shallow depth of field. Now I could use just the ambient light, could do what we did earlier. Just wind it down to well, let's go f1.4, we'll give it a bit of a chance. Quick little test photo. Well, I've got to back up quite a bit. And as the sun is starting to go down, actually that light isn't too bad, you know. That already feels better, doesn't it? Definitely better. But there's no life in Chloe's eyes. They're a little bit, I've taken worse. That's not bad. But we're going to put a little bit of flash in there. Try and make it a little bit more of our image rather than just what we find image. So back to manual. f1.4, ISO 200, and even at those settings, yeah, hang on a minute, we may have a problem. So that is a problem because I can only add light to the shadows and that image is already overexposed. What am I going to do? Because I need to do something to try and get the flash to work. I've got to make this darker. I could change the ISO. Let's say I'm going to leave the ISO alone. What could I change? Okay.
I've got a couple of questions.
Yeah, far away.
Christopher asked, does your flash meter have a transmitter?
Yes. So again, gear links in the video description, but this has a little Godox stroke flashpoint transmitter in the battery compartment at the back. I won't open it because it all falls apart. Yeah, it can, if I press the button on the side, I don't know if you can see. Yeah.
Okay, you've had some answers as well. So we've got speed, HSS, ND filter, ND filter, shutter speed, ND filter or HSS, shutter speed.
Okay, yeah, shutter speed. Let's start there. I mean, you're all right in every way. So shutter speed, we can start there first of all. So if I take my shutter speed and I start to look through the viewfinder, I can see the exposure shift, and I can see it's getting dark about 4,000th of a second. At 4,000th of a second, I'm getting something darker where I can add in my own light. Okay, so I know where I need to be for that. And then the question is, how do I get my flash to work at 4,000th of a second? Well, if I'm going to do that method, I need to press the HSS button, high speed sync button, and that will allow my camera and my flash to work at shutter speeds well beyond their built-in standard flash sync speed. Now, we're not going to go into how that works today because we have a lot more videos on Adorama TV, a lot better videos on Adorama TV on how that's done. But here's how it works. I'm going to do it by trial and error. Let's say we don't have a flash meter. Okay, so I'm going to put my flash to half power. Okay, half power, here we go. What do we reckon? Too bright or too dark? Or about right? Yeah, I think that's about right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I reckon that's probably not far off. Whoops. That's probably not far off. It can be very difficult to judge, especially when you're on location. So when you're on location, try not to use your little screen at the back. This little screen is lovely, but it's not very reliable, because if you set the brightness for studio work, when you come on location, it's really dark and you start to adjust, assuming this is correct. At least use the EVF, that's a bit better than using the back screen, in my experience. Okay, I think that was probably about right. Has anyone disagreed?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I thought it was a bit bright.
Okay, well, it's a good point. So let's take it down to a quarter power, and we'll take the same photo again. And let's put it to full power, and we'll take the same photo again. So we've got a stop either side of what I thought was right. Okay, so that's full power, quarter power, half power. Yeah, I'm going to go with Sam, and there's a couple of reasons for that.
Nice quiet life, is that one?
Basically. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. That's
I have to say they're all agreeing, yes.
yeah.
No, there's a few differences of opinion, but I think sometimes your screen makes a difference when you're watching on a
screen makes a
device
difference, and for some reason, when you get back inside and you look at them, I always tend to find the ones I thought were slightly out are often the ones that I think are slightly okay or more okay when I get back in. So just from experience of doing this, the thing I think is right on location often tends to be a bit heavy-handed, and that's not what I'm trying to achieve here.
So Mark said, okay, but not purple enough.
Yeah, we'll add some colour in a second. Okay, so let's take a few photos. Let's go for it. Fantastic. And I can move around. We can change the background. Let's change the background. There we go. Completely different feel to these photos just by moving my feet. As long as Chloe stays roughly the same distance from the light, everything is good.
So Brad said, I find that screen isn't great for using flash anyway, because the camera throws its own edits on it and doesn't give you a raw photo to see. It's a good base, but doesn't show it perfectly.
There you go.
Well summed up. Thank you, Brad.
And just to compare those, let's turn the flash off and just let the camera do its own thing. And we'll just reset the exposure. Okay, so this is the camera's version using this lighting. As I say, at the moment, we've got quite nice light. That's one, boom. But the flash just gives me a little bit more edge, that little bit more. Those are quite flat, where these just have that edge. Can you see that difference in contrast that we're getting on Chloe's face there? It's that just that nice little extra depth to the image. Yeah, actually, I'll tell you what, we'll just do a quick close-up. as you've gone through all the trouble with the makeup, just look past the camera. There we go. Oh, and that's what happens if you run the high-speed sync settings but forget to press the high-speed sync button.
I think that's a little bright.
Yeah, very much. And then it reset itself completely. Oh, hang on. User error.
While you're doing that, I'll just read this comment out from Tosh. Just remember, Sam is always right. She is never wrong and never makes mistakes. Thank you.
Tosh, okay. I mean, yes, obviously Tosh is right. Okay.
Terry said he really likes those from the side.
Yeah, they're nice, aren't they? Beautiful lighting. Has a nice kind of edge to them. Beautiful. I mean, that works really nicely. Very soft, very gentle lighting, nice shallow depth of field. Obviously, the closer you get, the shallower the depth of field becomes. So that's high-speed sync. We could use ND filters. Okay, so if you want to do an ND filter, here's mine. Okay, this is my filter, which is not in the video link description because I forgot. So this is a Hoyer 32N32, which is a 5-stop ND filter. It's kind of like, I mean, the camera's going to correct for that, so that's fun. So the way you work with ND filters is a little bit different. First thing, you don't have high-speed sync on, you turn that off. You just attach your ND filter, and 5 stops is kind of roughly where I think is best for this sort of work. All we've got to do is get the thread on and not cross-thread it. Oh, trying so hard not to cross-thread it. There it goes. Okay. Then set your camera up to its flash sync speed, so 250th of a second in my case, f1.4, ISO 200. Okay, and then you just repeat the process. So take a picture without any flash firing and work out your exposure. Hang on a second, flash sync speed 250, there it is. I think that's just a little bit too dark. Okay, so that's a bit too dark. So I need to either increase my ISO, take my shutter speed down, or get a 3-stop ND filter, which I don't have. It's the lighting in here at the moment. So let's go with a slightly slower shutter speed. We may even get a bit of motion blur, you never know. Okay, that's getting there. Yep, now I'm going to have to do the ISO. ISO it is. I'm just going to turn off my settings so I can see what I'm seeing. Okay, that's better. Okay, and then we were at 1/4 power, weren't we? So let's try 1/4 power. Same flash, same output. But look how much brighter this is. So you get more power if you use an ND filter and don't use the high-speed sync through this little Speedlight. Okay, so that's worth bearing in mind. High-speed sync is a great way to reduce your power. You get, I reckon, 2 stops. So 1/16 power. Okay, something like that. What you do end up with is a slightly flat image because I'm using an ND filter. It just feels a bit flatter, just a little less contrasty. But I'm working in RAW, so I can pull that out. Okay, we can take the same one from the side as well. It's also really dark through my viewfinder. Let me correct my viewfinder. Beautiful. Do some verticals because verticals are a thing. Might catch on, vertical photography, you never know. Coming around here, I'm just going to try and find where the sun is. Beautiful. So ND filters, yeah, absolutely. So my way of thinking is if you're okay with the power of high-speed sync and you've got high-speed sync kit, use high-speed sync. If you need extra power or you don't have high-speed sync, use an ND filter. You know, if you've got it, use it. Okay, so that kind of worked quite well. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Let's get a big flash out. Let's get one of the large flashes. Yeah. Oh, we forgot. Let's get some bubbles. Quick, before we lose this. I nearly forgot. Hang on. Here we go.
So Chuck has put, everybody remember to click like so Adorama knows we value Gavin's lessons. That's great. Thank you, Chuck. And yeah, if you could do that. Also, I like to see the hearts go past on the screen. So. Sorry, you carry on.
I think you should definitely put a side camera on. That's it. So you desk camera. There we go. Oh, it's the little things that make me happy. They're still in there. Okay, so we got this specifically for this photo shoot. I didn't get this just for me to... Do you want it? Sorry, Chloe. There we go. Okay, it's a prop. It's something to work with. It's that kind of festival vibe. Okay, Chloe, give me some bubbles. Hey. Now, I've got to watch my autofocus because I've got face and eye detect turned on, and what I've made are thousands of face-shaped bubbles. And it thinks every single one is a face. Well, it's not far off, I suppose. So occasionally it's doing that. And that. And that. And that. There we go. But you take the rough with the smooth. That's fun, isn't it? Okay, yeah, you get a few of those. Okay, yeah, that's great fun. I like that. Let's get a big flash. I'll take that away from you before you have too much fun. Yeah. Oh. Right. Big flashes. Big flashes, big softboxes. So, I have got Flashpoint Explore 600 Pro. I always like it when it says Pro. I feel much more professional. TTL, so we can do TTL and high-speed sync, if that's your thing. I mean, it's huge. So think of the power output of this. So this, 600 watt seconds, potentially. If we say, for the sake of argument, a Speedlight is 75. That makes life a bit easier for the mathematics. If it's 75 versus 600, how many speedlights at full power would equal this at full power? Yeah, maths. Who thought? 75 versus 600. How many speedlights would I need to match this? Sorry, that audio isn't bad audio. That is the sound of me putting that together. Okay.
So Joe asked, do you have to backlight the bubbles like you do smoke in order to see them?
No, you don't have to backlight them. They're translucent, so you'll find bubbles are weird. If you light them from one side, you actually light them from both sides because it reflects on the way in and on the way out of a bubble. So you get this kind of double reflection, which gives you that curve shape. You don't have to backlight them, you can front light them, you just have to have them against a dark background.
You've got some answers.
Mm-hmm.
We've got 8, 5.5, 8, 8, 8, 7. Yeah.
So mostly 8. Okay.
Mostly 8.
So 75 is 1, 150 would be 2, what's that? 300 would be 4. 600 would be 8. It doubles every single time. So yeah, 8, the equivalent of 8 speedlights for a flash that isn't 8 times more expensive. So if you need this level of power, that's what you're going to get. But it's 3 stops more. That doesn't sound that much when you say it like that, but when you say it's 8 speedlights, that does sound like a lot. The numbers are the same. So the first advantage of this is, well, if it turns on, yes, it does. That's a good start. The first advantage is I can use a much larger softbox. So I had the 24-inch Hexapop. I'm now using the upside down 38-inch Parapop. Okay, so this is considerably larger, which means I can either back it up more, or we can have that much softer light. So there's an immediate advantage. The disadvantage is you've got to carry around a much larger light, which on this little light stand actually might be an issue, but we'll see. Okay, let's get it in close, but not too close. Okay, in fact, let's see how close we can get. Let's get, Chloe, let's get you stood. Can you come and stand right by it for me? So this light can do everything that the Speedlight did. All of that kind of fill light, that gentle, balanced look, we could do with this. But rather than doing it again, let me show you what this can do on top of what a Speedlight can do. So I need a different lens, of course. And let's see what we got. That one will do. Okay, so we're using big flashes. If we're in the studio, what would we be doing first? The thing we don't do on location, I'm going to do on location. So the first thing we do in the studio, no flash, no picture. Flash sync speed, 250th of a second. ISO, let's go ISO 80. I wonder why that came about. Interesting choice. And who predicted that coming? And I'm going to take a picture without any flash firing. I'm going to have to be a little bit taller than Chloe. Here we go. And just try and find the darkest bits of this image I can. Okay, there's a little bit of light hitting the tree behind me. I don't think I can get away with trimming the tree, but effectively, no flash, no picture, more or less. What am I at? F10. Oh, I can go darker than that. Let's go, well, this lens goes to F22. Let's try F22. Here we go. Yeah, okay, there we go. No, your screens are not broken and your speakers aren't broken either. That is no flash, no picture, out on location. F22, ISO 80. Can this 600 watt second flash overpower that? Actually, I don't know. So let's find out. Let's stick it on half power and find out. This could be quite a pop. Are you ready? Yeah. Here we go. Welcome to my outdoor studio. I have the power to do studio photography, as long as you want a black background, on location with this light. Okay, so you can remove the whole everything and just have a studio experience when you're on location. As long as I got it in focus. I mean, at f22 it should be in focus, but it's also not the sharpest lens at f22. That's okay. That's pretty sharp. Yeah, that worked, didn't it? Obviously, you could get more flashes, do the fill-in for the other side, blah, 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 but I think what this really needs are some bubbles, don't you? Yeah, I think so. Now, obviously, Chloe, you can't actually model for this and hold this machine. I'm afraid I am going to have to put bubbles in your face. I hate my job. It's really terrible, but I'm doing it for you. This is so much fun. Okay, here we go. Let's get this in focus. Test focus, test photo. Here come the bubbles. Oh, that was terrible, Chloe. I've got to do it again. Okay. I'm going up. We'll go up. Here we go. It said no tears on the box now. I'm holding you to that. Okay. So I think the previous one. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, colour. Somebody wanted some colour? I can give you colour. Oh, that's zoomed in. Look at that. How cool is that? So we can create some fun studio-based stuff without having to go anywhere near the studio, which is good if you want that versatility. So remember, we can do the subtle stuff. We can do the slight, little bit of a pop of light. In fact, we'll do that. Let's just to prove it can. Let's pop that back there. And I'm going to go for a wider lens. Actually, I can just use the 12. Let's just use the 12. Okay, so I'm looking at this image and I'm thinking it's a little bit on the dark side. Yeah, okay, quick little test photo without any flash firing just to see what we get. The light level is dropping quite quickly now. Okay. Yeah, so I'm really having to run with the light a little bit. I'm at ISO 80. We'll leave it there. That's fine. We'll turn the flash on. And again, either trial and error or take a flash meter reading, whatever takes your fancy. Wow, that's bright. That's trial and error for you. So we're actually at 1/128th power. The Speedlight, to get something like that, we were at sort of a 1/4 power, 1/8 power. So you can see the difference. I could literally spend all day doing this and getting some beautiful images. And it doesn't matter if I double tap. The Speedlight was running out of puff if I got too carried away. It started to overheat. This light has a fan. It's not going to overheat. We're going to be fine. It's much more professional. It's much more designed to do this kind of work.
So I've got a question.
Cool, yeah, far away.
From Gulf Delta. Does changing lenses outdoors risk dirt on the sensor?
Changing lenses indoors risk dirt on the sensor if you've seen my studio. Yeah, it can happen anywhere, anytime. It depends on your environment. Out here, there's a few flies flying around, but maybe an ant or two, but I don't think there's much of a risk taking my lens off. If you're at a beach, a desert, a dusty city, you've got to look at your environment and act accordingly.
And also, what kind of light are you using right now?
This is the Flashpoint Explore 600 Pro. Link in the video description. So it is a beefy little light, but it's also super powerful. Okay, let's try and do a little bit of shallow depth of field stuff. We'll have a go with a high-speed sync. So let's grab a 17mm. I'd like to do a bit wider stuff. I'd like to see if we can just get a little bit more. It's kind of a bit too wide this, but it'll do. So 17mm doesn't give me the shallowest depth of field. That was definitely a mistake. 45mm is what I actually want. Just remember to take the filter off the front.
Everyone can hear the birds as well. It's the time when the sparrows are coming in for nesting or roosting overnight, and they're making so much noise here.
This way a little bit for me, thank you. So 45mm, I'm just looking behind Chloe. Yeah, look at that, the setting sun. These are going to be great. So we're just using it as a fill light just to get a bit of flash in, and because we've got the sun coming in that direction, maybe we should move the light accordingly. There we go. Let's pop it just a little bit behind. Actually, just take a step forward. That would be much easier. Makes my life a little bit easier. So you're going to be a little bit facing off to the side. There you go. So I've added my own little light to simulate that light, make it look like it's coming in from behind when it's actually coming in from the side. Gorgeous, beautiful pictures. Go vertical. Hang on. There he goes. Oh! I'm probably walking out of shot, but there we go.
No, it's okay. We can see you tripping over.
Nothing to see here. Who put this blooming laptop right in the way of where the sun's setting? It's literally setting through the little Manfrotto table. There we go.
So you've got a couple of questions.
Far away.
What's that red pedestal beside the light stand?
Oh yeah.
What's that for?
Oh yeah.
Have you
forgot
forgotten?
about that?
Yeah. That's.
Do you want to have a sit down a second? Oh, mind your toes. It's for putting on Chloe's toes. Okay, and change over lenses.
And Karine asked, is there sand in the bags?
Oh, in the bags? No. So one of the bags has pea shingle and lead piping, or lead flashing. The other one is just pea shingle, and I think one of them is 2p coins from a, I don't know if you have them where you are, but where we are, we have these seaside fun fair things where you can put 2p in and it'll, little things go backwards and forwards. Those things.
Yeah, actually, Mike has put that Seth recommends using small, cheap coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are easily the best, so and probably more valuable than some of my actual equipment. So, okay, I'm going to have to move the uh-oh. Uh-oh. Things you don't do in the studio. Move stuff around. Okay. Okay, so I've got a fixed prime lens, so the zooming feature is my feet. I'm still at really low flash power. I'm at 1/64th power when it fires. Oh, there we go. That was way too bright. I thought maybe I should put it up just for the fun, but no. There we go. Come a little bit for a wider picture. Okay, so we're going to finish off with one last little set of pictures, because those are nice. Those have a lovely feel to them. But there's one other big advantage of using a large, powerful flash like this, and that is if you want to do something crazy, dramatic, over the top. Sounds like me. Do you want to stand up? Let's get this out of the way. Get that out of the way. Mind your feet. I hear it can actually catch your feet on that quite easily. Okay, that's going to go in here, but not too close. Okay, so I'm just making sure the height's about right, so roughly in line with Chloe's eye line. If I can see Chloe underneath the softbox, I'm in about the right position. So I'm going to turn the flash off, and I'm going to deliberately do something daft. So I'm going to deliberately underexpose everything. So I'm at ISO 80. I'm going to go f22, and my flash sync speed, 250th of a second. Okay, so let's see what we get. Okay, so what we get is dark, a lot of darkness. Okay, I might even lift it, that may be a little bit too dark. Yeah, that's getting better. There we go. So I can see a little bit of something coming through. I haven't lost absolutely everything, but I've lost most things. I might shift my exposure as I go, but that is my exposure for the background. Now I need to put light on Chloe. So let's grab the flash meter and see what we get. Chloe, I'm going to pop this near your chin. F28. Okay, that doesn't want to be that bright. F18, what am I actually working at? I'm at F16, that's pretty close. F16. Okay, so here we go. Oh, it wants to focus on Chloe, and fair enough. F16, so my flash meter tells me the same light is reaching Chloe as is dialed into my camera. So what that should mean is I have quite a bit of darkness. I never trust flash meters. They're a guide, they're not always a rule. And in my preference, I'm going to say I want it a bit brighter. There we go. Just a little half a stop. Okay, so now we have something that's really dark and dramatic. You know what we're going to do? Do you know how long it took me to put these up earlier? Let's put them down. You want to do that one? Thank you. It's a lovely sound, isn't it? Sound of quality, that. I got it. Yeah, marvellous. Okay, so that's just going to give me a bigger view of the sky, which I think right now is going to be useful. So I've left one up. Okay, yeah, that's going to be better. Okay, so we have quite a dramatic deep blue sky. We got the sun setting, it's not quite as dramatic as it looks there. We got light on Chloe. The only thing that we're missing to make this actually work is this. Yeah? Woo! I'm just showing Chloe what to do. And that's what you do. You got
Honestly,
it.
the amount of times he's got us to do little videos of him with that bubble machine this week, it's been insane.
We've got value for money from it. Okay. Okay, hold on. You're doing a good job. Somebody put this one, that was terrible. I don't know who did that one, that was dreadful. There we go. This way for me a bit, Chloe. That's it. bit more. Oop, plenty. Oh, of course he's moved. I've got to change my flash power or move my flash. This is what happens when you get carried away. It's kind of like, yay! Oh, hang on a minute, hang on a minute.
So, Meet the Bushes said if you backlight the bubbles, they'll really pop.
Hey.
Pun intended. Yeah, very good.
Okay, so Chloe, what I want you to do is fire them at me and then wave it in the air. Yeah. Okay, for those that like camera settings, I'm at half power. Half power. F16. ISO 80. 250th of a second. With the sun setting directly behind Chloe. Flash in her face. We may have dodgy audio, but we got some half decent pictures. Awesome, that'll do. You must be tired after that. Look at that, bubbles everywhere. That was so much fun. Okay, well, there we go. So, Speedlight versus Daylight. The two are very good in their own separate way. Ultimately, if you want the maximum possibilities, the more powerful your flash, the more possibilities that it opens to you. Because remember, we did something creative and kind of crazy, but we could have done the more gentle stuff all the way back using a more powerful light. You can turn it down, but it's hard to make it brighter than it already is. Hopefully you found that useful. Hopefully you managed to stick through us. Hopefully you, well, technical issues aside, made it this far. If you did, thank you very much for watching. And we're going to be back, I think, in about 4 weeks' time, back in the studio where I've got everything under control, which is kind of fantastic news. But also on Adorama, we have a whole bunch of videos coming up, so don't miss the Adorama TV, the live button. We've got one from Joe McNally coming up. That's going to be worth a watch, as well as Adorama events where we stream directly from the store. Some great stuff coming there as well. Yeah, let me say thank you very much to Chloe. Woo, give it up to Chloe. You'll find her description for her Instagram, that's the word I was going for, in the video description down below. Freya on the Super Switcher and Sam on the comments. Woo!
Thanks for all your questions and your comments and for sticking with us through the audio nightmares. Hopefully things will be better next time. Thank you very much.
Awesome. And there we go. That brings us to the end. So I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.